Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Football, best limitless team for match day 5. Now, this is not as easy as it usually is or is usually supposed to be because of the so many injuries going on. Like Vinicius is now injured, Gavi is now injured, Haaland is injured. He could be back by the time the match day starts. Odegaard is currently injured. He could be back by then. There's so many injuries, so many injuries. Even Bellingham is still injured, so it's not as easy as it is supposed to be. As previous seasons, you just go for Vinicius, Salah, Haaland, and it would be as easy as you'd like. But this time around, it's a bit tough, and as well as the fixtures not being as straightforward, and also some teams have already gone through. Usually, you find maybe one or two teams that have already clinched their spot by match day 5. But right now, this season, like more teams have actually clinched their spot already in the round of 16, so there could be a few players rested here and there. But I've tried my best to pick out the best limitless team for this match day. There'll also be a wildcard video. Watch out for that one. But let's get started with the best limitless team, and let me know if you're playing your limitless this week. If you are, you're actually lucky because you could take out the injured players and just focus on the players who are available. But for me, for the goalkeeper spot, I have decided to go for goalkeeper. Man City, I've gone for Ederson as the goalkeeper for the best limitless team. He has a home fixture against Leipzig. I don't think he will be rested. He's been benched for a couple of games for Ortega Moreno, but for this one, I think Ederson will start. Crucial game. If they win it, they clinch top spot, so I think they will go for him. So Ederson starts for me. The second goalkeeper I've gone for is a goalkeeper that I've not picked at all. In UCL Fantasy, this will be the first time on a limitless. His name is Matthias, the Braga goalkeeper against Union Berlin. Union Berlin are not on good form at all. Braga still have a chance to finish second. If Real Madrid beat Napoli and they beat Union Berlin, they still have a chance. So it could end up, if he can keep a clean sheet, that would be absolutely perfect for the teams. And Ederson is playing on the first day, and Matthias is playing on the second day. So far, he's only picked up 2 points, and the most is picked up at 15 shots saved. If Union Berlin can take at least 3 shots and he ends up keeping a clean sheet, you can be looking at 4 or 5 points. And actually, for a goalkeeper this time in the Champions League, I usually expect the opponents to score because teams are very good. So if you get like 3-4 points from Matthias, I think that's a good return. And hopefully, you don't even have to use him. Ederson could be a great option. But obviously, since you have a limitless chip, you could go for other goalkeepers like Oblak and the more expensive goalkeepers. But those are my goalkeeper picks. Next up, let's move to the defense. Defenders as well. I think defenders have been slightly easier to pick. First one I've gone for is Theo Hernandez, 21 points so far this season. He's playing against Dortmund. Now, is it an easy fixture? Not as easy as you'd like it to be, obviously, but his attacking potential is absolutely great. He hasn't really scored in the Champions League so far this season, but I think 21 points is great. The last time Dortmund went away from home at PSG, the time they went to PSG, they didn't score, and when they went to Newcastle, they only managed 1 goal. So hopefully Theo Hernandez can do something there for our teams at 6.5 million. He's currently selected by 21%. The second pick in defense is Hakimi. I've gone for Hakimi because Newcastle so far haven't scored away from home in the Champions League. They basically parked the bus against AC Milan. It ended 0-0. Should have been a Milan win, and they almost basically packed the bus as well away at Dortmund, and Dortmund won without conceding a goal. This time they're going to PSG, so Hakimi also scored in match day 1, is capable of scoring and assisting, and if he manages to keep a clean sheet against Newcastle, a team that hasn't scored away from home so far in the Champions League this season, I think it'd be a great option. Now, last time they played against Newcastle, they got trashed by Newcastle in England, so maybe PSG would want to bounce back from this one. They have a chance to revenge. So Theo Hernandez and Hakimi are my first picks. The third pick is Joao Cancelo. I've gone for Joao Cancelo, 44% selected at the moment. He's playing at home against FC Porto. He's always a great attacking option, but the main thing with Cancelo is ball recoveries. This season he hasn't really scored in the Champions League, but in terms of ball recoveries, he always manages to pick up incredible tallies in terms of ball recoveries. In match day 1, he had 3 balls recovered, but he kept a clean sheet, so he got 7 points. In match day 2, he picked up 9 ball recoveries. He also kept a clean sheet the last time they faced FC Porto. Third match day, 5 balls recovered, and in match day 4, 6 recovered. So he always guaranteed an extra 2 points for ball recoveries from Joao Cancelo. So even if FC Porto score, you're looking at 4 or 5 points minimum from Joao Cancelo. So that is another reason I've gone for him. I mean, I'd love to have this defense, but if you don't have a limitless chip, it is impossible to have this defense because of the kind of money it would cost you. The next defender I've gone for is an Arsenal defender, Saliba against Lens at home. I think that they have a good chance of a clean sheet there. So you might decide to go for Gabriel or someone else, but I think Saliba is kind of guaranteed to start for us to lead the Champions League. The others, you never know. Zinchenko and Tomiyasu, you never know who's going to start in that one. Ben White is currently injured. You're not sure if he's going to start in that one. You have to wait and see during the Premier League games this coming weekend. And then I would imagine Gabriel and Saliba start. Some of you would even go for a double up. I'd not be surprised, but I think one is enough for now. Saliba I've gone for, and then the next one, the final one, I've gone for an Inter Milan defender. They're playing against a team that hasn't been great at all so far in the Champions League this season. That's Benfica, so I've gone for Bastoni. Pretty difficult to pick out a defender from obviously Inter Milan, because I mean there's a lot of rotation. Last time Dumfries didn't play, Damian played. The last time DiMarco didn't play, De Vrij started in one of those games. Like it's a mixture. You never know who's going to start for Inter Milan, the defense, but I think it's great to take a risk on someone like a Bastoni. So that is my pick for this match day in terms of limitless chips. So those are the 5 defenders I've gone for. Next up, let's focus on the midfielders. Let me know which ones of those 5 you're going to be picking. Midfield wise, I'm going to stick with Bellingham because I would expect him to be back by then, but if he doesn't play, then you might decide to maybe go for a Bayern Munich midfielder, let's say. But Bayern Munich already through, so you need to be careful on who you're picking. But they could decide just go with the first team in this match day 5 and then maybe rest a fee in match day 6 against Man United. But I've gone for Jude Bellingham is the pick I've gone for. Let's go Jude Bellingham, 7.9. I mean, you don't really have to look at the price because you don't really care about that one and you have a limitless chip. But I've gone for Jude Bellingham as the first pick in terms of the midfield. If he doesn't start, then there's always options like Valverde, or you just go for a different team. Next up, I've gone for a differential from Bayern Munich because now that they've gone through already top spots, there could be a bit of rotation. Gnabry, I'm going to go for Gnabry in that position. He hasn't started. How many games has he started in the Champions League so far? Just one in match day 1 against Man United. Match day 2 years injured. Match day 3 years injured. Match day 4 he only played 3 minutes. I think this time he could get a significant amount of minutes. And against Copenhagen, I'd expect him to at least get an attacking return if he does start. So Gnabry is my option there. And then next up, I've gone for Saka from Arsenal up against Lens. Arsenal still need to clinch top spot, so if they win that game, they will have top spot clinched. So I think they will go with the first team, so Bukayo Saka starts there as well. The next 2, very, very difficult, but I've decided to go for Real Sociedad midfielder. They were absolutely terrific in the last game against Benfica. They could have scored 5 or 6 goals in that match, and they didn't. So unlucky they missed a penalty and all that, but they looked very, very good. So options are those 3 you can see: Merino, Mendes, and Trientes. But I've gone for it's mainly between Merino and Mendes, and I'm going to stick with Mendes. He missed a penalty last time out, and Merino performed better than him, but Mendes performed well in match day 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go with that he's basically guaranteed himself a position to start. Both of them, yes, but Mendes has shown us that he can perform in other games. Merino's only showed us that in 1 game. So I'm going to stick with Bryce Mendes. Whichever you want from those 2, maybe even a double up if you prefer. They have a home game against Salzburg. And then final pick I've gone for in midfield, Anderson. Anderson is my pick. Let me just search for that. Felipe Anderson against Celtic at home. Lazio, Celtic have been terrible. They only have 1 point so far. Again, the midfield from Lazio, very, very difficult to pick. I've looked at Felipe Anderson, at Pedro. There's also, I think, Luis Albert. There's so many options. All of them have been starting, maybe apart from Pedro, but there's 3 or 4 that have been starting every single game. I have decided to go for Felipe Anderson against Celtic. I think they will get 2 or 3 goals in that fixture. So I think it would be a great differential to have an attacking player from Lazio, and he is actually selected by 0%. So that is a massive differential. So that is the midfield I've decided to go for. Let me know if there's any players I'm missing. Obviously, you can go for Sane if you prefer, if you think it's going to start. If you get any team news close to then, you can always go for Sane or someone like that. Up front, strikers, I'm going to stick with Erling Haaland, even though he's currently injured. I'm going to stick with him. Let's see, Erling Haaland, because I think by then he will be back. I think he could even play this weekend against Liverpool. So Erling Haaland, it's a game they need to win to clinch top spot. So I think he's going to start. Erling Haaland. Then the last time he played against Leipzig at home last season, I think he's got like 5 goals. So if he repeats that, then you're going to be absolutely balling. So Haaland is my first pick. Next up, I've gone for a striker from PSG, Kylian Mbappe. As I said, Newcastle have not been great. They have so many injuries. They've not been great away from home, especially in the Champions League. So I'm going to go for Mbappe, 27%. Not many people can afford him, especially if you're not playing a limitless. So 27% is quite low for Mbappe. Other seasons is usually at 40-50%. Mbappe is my next pick, and then the final strike I've gone to Galatasaray. That is Icardi. Man United have been terrible in the Champions League so far this season. They've been conceding goals. They conceded 3 against Galatasaray last time. They conceded 4 against Bayern Munich, 4 against Copenhagen. So I'm going to go for Icardi. He takes the penalties as well, so that is the option. All 3 of them take penalties. So Haaland, Mbappe, and Icardi. So those are my picks in terms of the forward line. Obviously, there's other players you can go for. As I said, you can stick with Harry Kane if you feel like he's going to start. You can go for a player like Sane if you prefer. Maybe you can go for Martinelli if you prefer. You can go for Merino instead of Mendes from Real Sociedad. You can go for Dumfries instead of Bastoni if you prefer, if you feel like they're going to start. There's a lot of options, but that is the best limitless team according to me for match day 5. Let me know if you have a limitless and how many players you're going to pick from that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.